Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Happy, Sad, Confused. I'm Josh Horowitz. Welcome to my very own podcast. This week's episode is Jesse Eisenberg, Oscar-nominated actor, of course known for his work in Adventureland, The Social Network, and so many more films, including two we talk about this week. He's got The Double, which is a very funny black comedy directed by Richard Iowad, and Night Moves by Kelly Reichardt, a very compelling, suspenseful tale co-starring Dakota Fanning and Peter Sarsgaard.
Do this or...
I think it a lot of times dovetails with what I'm working on, like this movie I just did about the David Foster Wallace. I was playing a writer and I ended up on the weekends writing all week. I have a book coming out next year and I had to kind of write. I was trying to finish up pieces for it, and on the weekends, I think probably because I was spending every day thinking about writing and talking about writing, it just ends up infecting you. And now I'm doing this movie where my character is kind of he's like a stoner, unmotivated who then becomes embroiled in this kind of CIA plot because they're trying to kill him. And it's a great movie, but my character, and it's a great role, the character is a really interesting guy. He has been brainwashed by the CIA and he's starting to come to terms with the fact that his whole life has kind of been fabricated by this secret organization. So it's a really interesting character, but the character has no motivation. So for me, on the weekends, I kind of just feel lazy, and I think it's not because I'm intentionally trying to be immersive in my characters, even though I do immerse myself. I think what ends up happening is you spend 14 hours a day in the spirit of a role, and it naturally infects whatever you're experiencing. Sure. So I've done movies where my characters are not very nice people and I've alienated friends and family, and then you realize only in retrospect, oh no, I see what I was doing now. So now I'm trying to kind of realize that while it's happening, so that I don't...
at least be self-aware, so you can maybe...
So I don't...
When it turns off, you can actually turn into the productive person you want to be.
Yeah, or just know, I'm probably going to not be nice to somebody for a few weeks because I'm playing this character that's awful to his mother, and so I'm not going to be nice to my mother, but that's because of the role. But it's the fun part
cost. That's
She's a very forgiving woman, but it's it's the wonderful part of immersing yourself in the thing you like to do. Occasionally there are I guess downsides, if you're not nice to your mother or something like that is not a good thing to do. But mostly it's upsides, immersing yourself in a project is really fun. As an actor, you're immersing yourself more than a lot of other people working on it because you're immersing your emotions into it. So if you're directing something, you're really immersed in the kind of day-to-day decision-making, and you're probably immersed in the emotions as well, but probably not as much as the actor who's in kind of every take giving the real emotional experience. Maybe directors do too, I don't know. I can't speak to the other experiences on set, except that when you're acting in something, at least what I do is you give your whole emotional life over to it and it naturally infects the other areas.
This latest one, that's American Ultra?
It's called American Ultra.
So you and Kristen again?
Yeah.
My regards to Kristen. I love her, she's awesome.
Yeah.
Is it fun to kind of work with her again after Adventureland I love too? That's a great piece of work. She's
great. She's really great. She's a really great actress. Yeah, she's just wonderful. She is a good example of somebody who really immerses themselves. When we were doing Adventureland, she was 17 years old, and she would literally stop takes in the middle of a take if she felt like she wasn't being honest. She would say, cut, I'm lying.
Oh, totally. She has no BS.
Yes, exactly.
Filter, she can't stand it, right?
How'd you know that?
Well, I've talked to her a ton over the years, thanks to
you could tell.
Twilight and everything. Yeah, she's very real, which is...
Yeah, it's really wonderful. Yeah. The kind of... it may look sometimes as though, she is... because she's in, those movies, for example, which I don't know, and this movie, which is kind of bigger than Adventureland, it's an interesting acting style for these kind of movies, because these kind of movies occasionally require... It's not something I really can do well, but it occasionally requires, being big,
right,
so to speak. And she does that, I guess, but she's so realistic. So, in this movie we're doing now, every scene is kind of very dramatic because she plays my girlfriend and we're both realizing my life was a lie and she's been kind of harboring this secret life from me, and so all the scenes are kind of histrionic and you can't really half do it.
Right.
I imagine in a movie these big action movies, I don't know, actors who always do those movies, maybe they can half do it at some point and it looks real. But if you're only in these kind of things occasionally, you end up doing the same kind of acting you do in an independent movie, but because they're these big histrionic scenes, you end up like fully immersing yourself in these very histrionic moments, and it kind of can like make you a little nutty. But she's really great to work with because she does that too.
Jesse, it's good to see you. Thank you for coming to the heart of
thanks a lot.
Weird Times Square and my weird office.
Look up Donald Margulies.